Welcome to Christian Statesman. I'm your host, Zach Wagner, and today is episode 130, Who Actually Runs the White House? At least some of the fake Biden regime is finally being discussed on mainstream media. Fox News, which is arguably the controlled conservative opposition of all the other liberal fake news media outlets, has allowed Judge Jeanine Pirro to at least pontificate that Biden is not actually running his own show. Well, hold the presses. We finally have some inkling of truth on television. We must qualify this episode here with the fact that we have sympathy for Biden and his family. As a career politico embroiled in corruption for decades, this must be both the epitome and nadir of his career goals. To be the president, the leader of the free world, an historical achievement, even if it is in title only, but not in actual practice. And then to be shuffled off to a green screen room and allow someone else to actually run the show. But the truth is, we have not had a president in decades who did not answer to the higher global powers. Reagan was our last true leader, but even he was corralled by a bullet near his heart just weeks into his presidency. The message was clear: play ball with the real powers or you are not long for office, and our man Bush is waiting in the wings. JFK was determined to loose the grip of a growing deep state upon this country in the 60s. He was viewed as a nuisance right up until he proposed issuing silver certificates and eroding the power of the Federal Reserve. That bought him a grassy knoll. In short, for a long time there have been powers running the government of this country and most other developed countries that exist beyond the established structure. This deep state, as it were, is who really must be identified in the long run. And this is where editorialists like Pirro and any others in the mainstream fall far short. Perhaps her theory of a White House staff, so-called, full of Obama's people may indeed equate Biden's fallacious tenure as a third term for Obama. However, whether it is Obama or someone else pulling the strings and giving orders behind the scenes is irrelevant. He would only be the messenger boy anyway. The more relevant question is, who is pulling Obama's strings? His popularity among certain demographics aside, few in the mainstream have ever taken a serious look at who a man like Obama is. And he is representative of so many who now hold positions of power within our military, government, and corporate infrastructure. His entire young life is a fabrication. We are not even sure he was born in the U.S. He was raised and influenced by Frank Marshall Davis, an avowed communist. His political career in Chicago was launched by Bill Ayers and Bernardine Dohrn, both avowed anti-American radicals that should be serving life terms in prison, but instead hold cushy professional positions within the extreme left infrastructure. We should not ignore these associations. They are relevant and significant. It confirms the illusion of the individual we are being sold, not their true nature. He had almost no political experience or accomplishment and was raised to the nomination for the presidency. His campaign was touted mostly on racial and ideological lines, and no real light was cast upon the fact that he had no real qualifications for the office, other than good looks, smooth style, and all the right talking points. But he did not develop those talking points himself. The higher powers did. He managed in 8 years to erode almost every traditional value and institution this country ever held dear, all in the name of an ethereal sense of social justice. And those same powers, after a pesky interruption by Donald Trump, are now back on track. And it is crystal clear that their agenda involves the takedown of America on an accelerated schedule. Open borders, dissolution of power in the Middle East, collapsing supply chains, the purging of our military, and ever-encroaching medical tyranny all define the agenda being forwarded by whoever is running the show behind the scenes. And as sports stadiums across the country chant F Joe Biden or Let's Go Brandon, we can see that the average citizen on the street is beginning to recognize that they certainly did not vote for this. If we are to continue into an effective awakening as individuals and as a country, we must recognize clearly how this system is currently operating, and it has little to do with the will of the people. Forces that are not elected and accountable to no one are running the show at the White House or wherever they are staging the supposed White House and setting Biden up in front of cameras. We are watching a show, a play put on to convince us that we still live in a republic. The powers behind the scenes are hoping we are so memorized by the show that we will not be cognizant of the fact that they will soon be burning down the entire theater. In order to avoid our own national inglorious bastards climax, we need to continue to awaken and begin to demand action and accountability individually, locally, and from anyone left nationally who might act. Who is left to act? That is another relevant question and a subject worthy of its own. But you can count on one thing for sure. Those who fictitiously represent the highest office known in the free world are clearly not going to help with anything to cure our current crises. Thank you for being with us. Please subscribe, and as always, have a blessed day.